Welcome back to the struggle tube, dwellers. The Zerg infestation remains. A new challenger enters the field to try his hand at clearing this mess up. So we return to the Kaspersky Arena tournament from September. This is a little German-run tournament. It's got a lot of European players in it, and it's got a few European pros. Namely, Empire Happy, Liquid TLO. I can't say whether or not he'll be in a video, but I happen to know that Nerchio played in this tournament as well. And here we are, spawning on Whirlwind LE. Introducing first the winner of the last series, taking out Happy 3 games in a row. The Blue Zerg, Liquid TLO. His opponent, yet another Terran. A lesser-known name, even more so than Happy. But skilled nonetheless, given that he reached this depth of the tournament. This is the semifinals, the round of 4, if you will. Your fighting red Terran, the German player kauP. kauP? kauP. 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 One of those variants. Maybe all of those variants. He requires that you say his name 4 times every time you speak about him. Boy, it's going to get hairy in this cast. So TLO, having won that last best of 5 against Happy, is looking to take his tournament life to the next level here in this little German-run tournament by taking down another Terran, so another ZVT we have on our hands, you say. I wonder who you all will be chanting for. Likely TLO, but come on now. Give our Terran here some credit. The skill ceiling in Starcraft 2 is so incredibly high. Build update. TLO has a 15 hatch out. And kauP has a 15 command center. The skill ceiling, though, in Starcraft 2 is so incredibly high that... so the Masters League is the top 2% of the player base. I should say the Masters League for each respective server is the top 2% of that server's player base, more specifically. So if you're in Masters in the North American servers, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're actually not in the top 2% of the overall player base. I'm sure the Masters League for Korea is absolutely bonkers. But anyway, in a general sense, Masters League is the top 2% of the player base. Within Masters League, the people that are like just barely in Masters League, they have some rank, they're not rank 1 or anything, they're not in Grandmasters. The people that are just really, really good at StarCraft, like, I've played a good bit of StarCraft in my day, and I've, crunched numbers about it, kind of done homework, like activities for this game, and I've been to Masters League. I don't play regularly in Masters League. If you guys see my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. Laughable, even, as Terran. But I've seen the top 2% of the player base, and I've got to tell you that people on, say, TLO's level, people in this Grandmaster level, and even more so, the tournament players that are in the Grandmasters League, but only because there's not a league above Grandmasters League. Like the people like Maru Prime, for example, the MMAs, the Nestees of the world. I guess not so much Nestee lately, but still, you get the picture. These people are like ungodly good at this game as compared to me. They play so much of it. There's so many aspects of the game that are second nature. They don't even have to think about things. They don't be like, oh yeah, it's coming up on like the 6-minute mark. I need to scout somehow. No, they don't even think about it. It just happens. They're already scouting. And sometimes they don't even need to scout. They just know what their opponent's doing because they saw a Marine at a certain second mark. So ridiculously good at this game that there's a huge separation between most Masters players and people like Liquid TLO. A lot of Masters players could get to decent spots in some weekly tournaments. The ISO Cup, the ICC Cup, I don't even know if that one's still running. This Cup, Kaspersky Arena. Masters players could get a good ways into this tournament, but then when they run up against somebody the likes of TLO, it is just a redonkulous difference. How much better TLO is, or how much better your tip-top pros are than people still in the top 2%. It just shows you can get really good at this game and still have a long, long stretch of better skilled players ahead of you. It's really interesting to see, and it's really cool to see players who are damn good that you can look at and identify as being damn good, who have really smooth timings and are nailing stuff, doing two-pronged attacks and microing well, just get mopped up by these better players. And I'm not trying to foreshadow anything, but I have a feeling we might get that here. kauP currently is not on any team, at least I don't think. Liquipedia says he's not on any team. He used to be in a new row star. I'm not even sure what team that is, and I'm not trying to insult him or anything. I'm just trying to gauge him. I'm trying to think about where in that top 2%, that hugely broad, wide, super long 2% of players, this cat falls. And I'm sure he's in the upper part of the 2%, but that can still mean that he's a long ways away from Liquid TLO. To be totally honest, if I were a betting man, then I would probably say 3-0 TLO. But you never know, and so we'll watch it. Any given Sunday, right? TLO does have his third coming up to get out of my theory crafting and rambling and get to the specifics of the game. He's also got 2 queens that can be dedicated to defense. They're pushing out his front. He's still got a queen at the natural, a queen in the main. His lair's about to finish, and he's got all 4 gases. This kind of seems like a muted timing, just those last 2 bits specifically. All 4 gases, lair finishing. And he is getting the Zergling damage and carapace. On the other side of the map, kauP, and sure enough we see the Spire going down there, back behind the natural. kauP is also building his third. As a matter of fact, it's finished, and he's moving it over. TLO, though, the fancy little bugger, is going to spit some creep out all over that third. It's going to force these Marines to come over here, get their antiseptic gear on, and maybe get out their vacuum hoses. They're just going to have to clean up some of this poop, this gigantic mess of Overlord dung. It's just been splattered all over the place. My God, it's disgusting. The command center, Nancy as it is, doesn't dare land all over that poopy mess. It can't deal with it. Command centers actually aren't equipped with any kind of septic subsystems. They just have a little pipe. It just shoots out the side, out the back over here. Whenever any of the occupants have to really go, they just drop their waste. Normally they're flying over Zerg bases or something, you know, flying over planets they don't really care about, so they're fine just dropping the waste right out the back. It's a good place for it, the ground somewhere. Spire's about to finish. We've got 800 gas. By the time it finishes, probably 900 gas. The minerals are going to catch up quick. We're going to see probably 8 or 9 mutas come out here. I'm watching the production tab closely. He actually started flyer attacks right off the bat. So that's going to take a little bit out of the chunk, but that means that he wants a long-term investment in mutas, which is consistent with what we've seen from TLO in the past. And his minerals are coming in a little bit slower than I anticipated, at least. Maybe he knew it would happen this way, but I read it a little wrong. So his mutas aren't coming out all at once. He's got a few mutas on the way. He's got some more coming. And here's some pretty nice timings I was talking about. kauP showing here. He's got 1-1 finished in a double engineering base setup. And the armory is just a few seconds off. It's still 15 seconds to go. Pretty damn close, though. I would especially like to see, and I may just keep these engineering bays selected, if kauP starts that 2-2 the second the engineering bay finishes. He's got the money for, as a matter of fact, 300 gas will make the money for both, right? 150? No, it's 175, so 350 gas. There, he could do it. He could do the upgrades right now. Come on, kauP. There they are. Boom, boom. That's some slick timing. That's cool to see. I like he just stemmed a little pack of the Marines in the front here, too. He didn't stem all of his Marines right there, just a few. So, you know, what I was talking about with the high skill, kauP's showing some of the finesse signs of being a pretty damn good player. TLO, though, always showing the same kind of stuff. He's going to run around while getting pressured at his front. He's going to push over, give kauP some love. In comes TLO with some Banelings, though. The Hellions, he already pulled the Marines back. This is really smooth play. I'm kind of surprised to see things working out this well, although TLO's macro, it's on another level right now. kauP's got to retreat. There are no Banelings here. He could turn and fight this for just a second, and he's going to have to. kauP's got to be really careful. He's going to load up in the medevacs. He might even lose one. TLO with just these couple of mutas. Right place, right time. He knows he doesn't need a huge muta timing. He just needs a couple for support. Baneling's getting picked off on the back side. kauP, you ballsy bugger, with just the Marines. But TLO, in the meantime, takes this worker count to a nice spot with him. kauP's just starting to get Widow Mines. It looks like he will get a shot off here. Oh, TLO splitting out just a couple Zerg units, though, to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. As I take a second to glance up in the top right-hand corner, we're still looking at 60 SCVs. 73 drones given, but 60 SCVs. The command center survives. kauP's macro is in a good place. I mean, all he's got to do is land that command center. He needs more barracks, and look, we've got a couple coming out here. Matter of fact, TLO's money is kind of skyrocketing a little bit more so than the Terran. Here, kauP has everything he needs, so long as he gets this fortified, maybe walls it off, maybe gets a Widow Mine or two in place. He's got everything he needs to still be in this game. By no means was that lift a killing blow. He saved a lot of SCVs. He's still got a lot of SCVs, and he's still building them 3 at a time. We're seeing a drop coming out here to clean up some orbital creep. TLO, what are you doing, you monster? He's spreading creep from an overlord, then bringing a queen over here just to make his creep spread that much more ridiculous. And look at this. TLO with the overlords splitting out to different various places. With the mutas, unfortunately, he will lose one, but he'll clean up this drop. And, you know, honestly, if I could sacrifice one muta for an entire drop every time a drop happens, I would probably do that every time it happened. So TLO is going to be happy with that trade. 4th command center going down here from kauP. Let's take a look at the tech progression of TLO. We don't see a hive on the way yet, and it looks like the tech path hasn't been unlocked, so no infestation pit yet. He's just going to stay on this lair tech. He likes his mutiling bane, and he's going to make sure he's just good and meaty with it before progressing on to anything else. He is getting the +2 damage for the mutalisks. No armor as of yet completed, however he does have 2/2 for his Ling Bane. And he's got all the important upgrades for him too. He's got that Zergling speed, he's got the roly-poly Banelings. Everything there just looking as beautiful as possible. kauP all over the place with these drops. He's not really getting damage per se in on TLO. You know what? A matter of fact, I was getting ready to say something about how he's clearing overlords. He's killing some creep, and so he's taking a little bit of map control. But then I looked at the map. No, not really. Oof, that included a couple mutas right there. That was kind of nasty. 3 Widow Mines going off at the same time. kauP forcefully taking some map control now. TLO, though, a master of his craft, still has a lot of just everything. Vision, he's got overlords everywhere. He's got pretty decent creep spread. His mutas are constantly in action. Some Marines stem up to pick off some creep tumors. TLO has a queen there, not dying to the Marines, just spreading more creep. Just casually saying, screw off, kauP, this is my map control. I'm going to keep it. See a couple Marauders working their way into the mix. No concussive shell yet. Note that 3-3, over halfway done here for kauP. Really good upgrade timings. And he's coming up on maxed out here at the 16-minute mark with the kind of macro focus he's had. That's pretty solid as well. More so than the macro focus, even the drops that he's lost. Just loaded up a couple more medevacs. Sorry, scratch that, 1 medevac. TLO's going to try to dodge in on this 4th with his mutas. He just now got an Overseer in the mix, so he can deal with Widow Mines if he wants. He's going to go into the natural. He's getting some decent SCV kills here, but honestly, kauP may be at that stage of the game where he's cool with losing a few SCVs. He's going to be able to do a little bit of orbital spam here in a bit, and he'll be A-OK. Oh my god, TLO, you are such a boss. Look at this pickoff. 3-3 within like 20 seconds of being done. Even kills the armory. It's going to take kauP forever to recover from that. That was such a clutch play. TLO, I don't believe how smooth you are. He just waltzed right in there. Meanwhile, a counterattack at the natural. As much health as is missing from that finery, some Banelings had to have been involved. And we see worker losses counting up to 37. All of a sudden, kauP's down to 45 workers. This muta harass coming through did a good bit of damage. I have a feeling, though, we missed some amazing Baneling hits, though. And honestly, even though there's a planetary here, Banelings could still do disgusting damage to this mineral line. Drones in the mix, even. TLO just gives no shits. Oh, man. Baneling's getting shot by... Wait, was that? That wasn't all the mutas, was it? No, okay. That was just a small bit. There were some mutas there that just got picked off by Widow Mines. And some Banelings as well, though the Banelings blew up and did damage right back. Looks like kauP is finally going to be able to reciprocate some damage. TLO's, we're going to call it 5th. That one's up, so maybe this was 6th. That's a little bit better, I think. 6th base is going to get picked off by a drop. He will eventually clean it up, and there wasn't any mining over here, so just the loss of the hatchery for TLO. kauP, just that's going to be enough damage, though, really. He's got still a pretty solid economic footing here. Matter of fact, TLO, with this drone count, he's got 93 drones. That's almost too many. He is banking up minerals, though, and he's relying very heavily on this Muta cluster. Oh, my God. He did just lose 2 Mutalisks and took a lot of damage on a lot of others. It looks like kauP wants to use that. Knowing that the Mutalisks are low on health, he's going to try to push out. Again, stemming just a little chunk of Marines in the front. He's going to see if he can use this bit of missing health to his advantage and either push out and get a nice trade where he kills a lot of Mutalisks, or push out and just take the fight altogether. Meanwhile, a drop coming in. Multitasking from kauP, really on point. He's had drops on both sides of the map throughout this little bout. Oh, but TLO, this is one thing I've got to criticize kauP on. I've been singing his praises, and he's deserved it so far. But he's not putting up the kind of defense we normally see from Terran players. He's not putting up unstoppable walls that are, you know, Baneling Bust required just to get through. He's been taking a lot of damage from TLO. And now he's going to do a little multi-prong pressure over here. He's got a lot of Widow Mines in place. And he's going to push down with his infantry and take out that 6th base again, while also using this double drop to take out the 5th base. So he's actually picking up some ground here, but he's also losing some ground back at his main. It looks like the 4th, the planetary, was totally picked off. And now his orbital command is going to get taken down, as well as a lot of workers. kauP down to 36 SCVs now. Everything I said about his macro being in a decent place, I take it all back. It's not. kauP has to get damage done here, but that's a lot of stuff. There's a good number of Widow Mines, but kauP needs perfect hits, and those are way too clustered. He's not going to get amazing hits there. If he spreads them out a little bit, he might. Matter of fact, there's one up here. Oof. He's pulled the Marines back to let these Widow Mines get their hits off. That was actually pretty devastating. But TLO's not sending all of his force at once. He's sending little bits, and so far it's working pretty effectively. Scratch that. Where's this bio coming from? 3-3 still hasn't completed. As a matter of fact, it's over halfway again. And, you know, somewhat in line with TLO's upgrades. I think TLO actually finished 3 melee. kauP all of a sudden has a really sizable army here. This is kind of surprising to see. I want to see. TLO does have 3-3 now. A little bit ahead of kauP. He's going to come in with some Banelings again, though. The Widow Mines aren't in the ground. They don't have the cooldown anyway. There's still a lot of Mutalisks here. Good Widow Mine hits. A lot of the ground forces are taken out of TLO. But this Mutalisk retention is just too much. He's got a huge cloud still, and he now doubles up the supply of kauP. Take a look at this worker count again. TLO lost a lot. He's down to 60 workers, 66 to be exact. kauP down at 36 still, though. He's got to move his main out. He only has 2 command centers. I guess he's got a third. He's going to fly it down to make another planetary, likely. I don't know that he can defend it, though, and I know that he can't push out and really get anything done over here. TLO with 3 air upgrades. My God, you don't see that very often from Zerg players. That's one thing that just doesn't seem to be a high priority, or just slips a lot of Zerg players' minds. I would think it's more so the former than the latter, as there are some Zerg players out there with pretty amazing minds. Don't really have all that many slips, at least not as far as Starcraft is concerned. kauP, for the time being, looks like he's going to hold on. This is dangerous, though. He stemmed his entire army. And only has a couple medevacs. He lost all of his medevacs in that last desperate push. And he did kill a lot of TLO's stuff, so to some degree there was a bit of a reset. But I think TLO kept what he needed to keep, and kauP didn't so much. He needed to keep a number of Widow Mines. He needed to keep medevacs. He would have loved to not lose absolutely all of his infantry, although that is easily the most replaceable thing. And now, oof, the camping on the production line. TLO's got enough mutas that he's just bullying his way in here. He's killing off structures. That was a starport there that died. He killed a tech lab here. Actually, that might have been a reactor. I think it was a reactor. He is going to get forced out by the full army, but that just means that he can dive right back in on this 3rd base. He's got a couple Zerglings here, too, just to allow his mutas to go toe-to-toe with these Marines. kauP does have 3-3 for his bio, so the upgrades are finally on par. But like I said, the retention of this technology investment for the Zerg, these Mutalisks, it is just too strong. Oh, nice. Widow Mine hit. He's going to soften these mutas up. Marines could take these out pretty quick. They chew through muta hit points. As we see, we hear a couple firecrackers worth of gunfire, and a muta explodes and rains give down. kauP with that 1 base over there still mining. He ain't dead yet. And you better believe he's going to be the turd that won't flush. kauP the floater. Just going to float around in this game, much like TLO, though not literally. He's going to see if there's any chance that he comes back. Down to 20 workers. Production tab shows that TLO is actually taking the time to get air armor upgrades. And of course, the long time coming tech transition of Ultralisks. It's here! Bainley's in the mix! Ultras, TLO's going to be a little bit reserved with his forces. Scratch that, he's just lining the flank up, pulling a couple of the front guys back so that the flank can time in with them correctly. kauP knows he's had. His bases are in ruin. He lost the last bits of his army except for a few stragglers. He's going to GG out. TLO takes a game number 1 in a surprisingly long-winded macro game where kauP definitely showed his skill. I am impressed. I kind of expected this to be a wham bam thank you ma'am game. Maybe even series. 'Tis not so though. Thanks for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this video. Please stick around. This is a best of 5. More games will follow shortly. Bye bye.